Hi, this is Diane Greco-Allen, and today we're going to talk about magnesium and going nuts because a lot of kids have nut allergies these days, and we're trying to figure out what is going on with all these nut allergies. Is it something that you're just over-responding to? Is your immune system on high alert? Are you having histamine issues? What's going on with all these magnesium and calcium issues, sodium chloride, fluoride? Do I use that toothpaste? Do I drink that water? What are we supposed to be doing, right? So today I'm talking about magnesium supplements, and a lot of people are taking magnesium supplements because they're finding that there's some imbalances in what they're experiencing and what's going on in their bodies. Now, magnesium is a partner to calcium. And some of these partners sometimes need to have that right balance, and there's a ratio for those. So you need to know what that ratio is in your body and what's going on in your body. So if you're stressed and there's a lot of things going on and you're absorbing too much of the sugars, and the sugars can be found in starches, they can be found in any of those quick sugars that you drink, and they can be also in your flours. You're eating all this stuff and it gets into your system. Sometimes it's not being absorbed properly, and if there's inflammation in the intestine, then it leaves leaks in that intestine, which you might have heard of leaky bowel and leaky brain and leaky, because everything becomes leaky. Okay, but we're going to get back to the magnesium because you want all your little areas to be close and to be working together, and your fingers and your intestines to be moving that all that roughage through. But if you're not supplying your body with the nutrients it needs, and with the roughage, and with the the fiber from the natural foods, you're just going to cause some blockages and some distorted problems. So we'll talk why magnesium is such an issue, because a lot of people are relying on foods that actually have a ton of calcium in them. And sometimes they're taking antacids over the counter that also have calcium in them. These too much calcium can cause brain fog, can cause all kinds of intestinal distress and some cramping all over the body. So you might notice some days that you're cramping more than others, and you're not able to release things that are inside. So you're getting constipated, or you're going back and forth, and you have the IBS situation. So in my book, I talk about these types of scenarios. It might be your pancreas. It's about pancreatitis. But pancreatitis is an inflammatory condition that can be related to some other things that are going on with your eating and ingesting of certain nutrients or foods that may not be necessary for you. Some of the things that we call food really aren't real. And so those cause a lot of inflammatory issues. And then some of them are so refined that they just cause stress on the intestinal and digestive organs. So magnesium supplements, I looked up a wonderful, there was a place out in Colorado, and I went into it. It's Natural Grocers. And they had a wonderful printout on all the different magnesium supplements. And then I started reading about these supplements and how they're connected to organic acids. And if you think about some of the acids that we get from our food, if we're not ingesting them in the proper portions, then they can get also put out of balance. And you may have heard some of these too. And some of these have been associated to turkey and different taurines and different things that we eat. So one of the things that I really want to focus on is topical magnesium, because a lot of people are now using Epsom salt baths, or you go to the mineral hot springs, or you're drinking mineral water. Okay, now all these minerals if you're overdosing on minerals, it can also cause some disturbances because your body still has to handle and figure out, where it needs these minerals and how to use them properly, and how to have that homeostasis around electrolytes in minerals. And some of these refined minerals, or some of the really essential minerals that we're missing, sometimes after we have cleaned up our diet, are still maybe, why is this still happening? What's going on? So you're trying to figure out how to manage all of this. And so today we're going to talk about not just topical agents, but supplements and nuts, because nuts and seeds and even brown rice have contain some magnesium, or contain some of these minerals. And let's think about that chart behind us. We're going to think about what's behind us, and that is called the mineral chart that we use, or that we see from everything in our earth, and how our bodies react to it. So what we're going to talk about today, again, is magnesium oxide, carbonate, chloride, citrate, gluconate, glycinate. Okay, there's buffered magnesium glycinate, there's L-threonate, there's malate, orotate, and taurate. Okay, now these are all different forms of magnesium, and I want you to think about that, because when magnesium is not easily absorbed, or maybe you're not able to handle a certain type of magnesium, there might be some reason behind that. And so we look at why these different types of magnesiums might work for you and not work for someone else, or why they tip you over the scales and cause diarrhea, or maybe they're causing constipation, or maybe you have a renal problem, which is kidneys, that where you cannot tolerate a lot of magnesium at the present time, because your kidneys are dealing with some other stress. So we think about these types of magnesiums. Now, usually magnesium is a calming agent in the body. It helps to reduce soreness of muscles, has a relaxing property, and some of the magnesium can get into your body by just using it topically. And so you want to be very mindful of some of these over-the-counter products that you might just be popping pills. I always tell people to be mindful about any of the vitamins that they're taking when they're a combinational type deal, because even for newborns and birthing moms, these vitamins may be working a little bit against you depending on what other foods you're eating. So you have to be very mindful and careful about how these things are working with you and your forming child. Okay, so when we think about magnesium taurate, this is a bond, or it's bound to amino acid taurine. Okay, so we're talking about the 21 amino acids that we get from our foods, and taurine has a calming effect on the brain and body. And so they have always said, when you eat too much turkey, you get tired. Well, most of the time, it's not just the turkey, it's all those things that you're eating with that turkey, and it's usually a lot of carbohydrates. So that is always something to keep in mind. Now, it also positively influences heart health by slowing the progression of plaque formation in the arteries, modulating blood pressure and heart rate, supporting health blood clotting factors, and magnesium taurate does not affect the bowels. Now, some of these do affect the bowels, and they use magnesium citrate, of course, for when you want to do a bowel prep. They've used that in the past, where you have the little bottle. They're doing a lot of things a little differently now, but I just wanted to go over the foods that we might see magnesium in. And a lot of people don't realize that there's magnesium in these hemp seeds. Now, can everybody eat hemp seeds? I'm not sure about that. But you must think about all the things that you're eating in addition. This could be something that you sprinkle on a salad. This could be something, you want to try to go to those basic forms of food. You don't want all the processed junk food that's going to stress your insides and cause the inflammation and cause all the histamine responses. Okay, so this has vitamin E, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, zinc, copper, and manganese. So if you're needing something to calm you, this would be a product to put on your food. Not a ton of it. This is just in small moderation, just to get the balance in there of what you need and how much you know that you need these things. Now, talk about some of these other products. You think about pecans. Now, we had pecan pie. We were doing all kinds of things with pecans, but they were always connected to sugars and starches. Now we're going to come back to the basics, and you don't need a lot. And when you overdose on some of these, you can have an effect in your body. But this, believe it or not, has potassium, and it's got some other values, but actually, I know that they have more, and this container does not even share all the positive aspects of pecans. Pecans have a wonderful balance of many of the minerals, but they do have their own sugar, which is great. So you're relying on a nut that has some sugar. So, you know, you don't have to add sugar to these things. And if you're eating an apple and you just sprinkle a little pecans on it or a little bit of something, some kids are unable to eat any nuts at this point because they've been doused with a lot of the inflammatory foods in addition to the nut products. And you think about all of our chocolates that we love, and these are concentrated forms of not only iron, but there can be cadmium, there can be a lot of other metals in there. So when you think about concentrated forms of food, you want to eat smaller amounts, okay? Eating too much could cause some distress. It can cause heart palpitations. It can cause GI issues. It can cause muscle aches and pains. It can give you headaches and migraines. So when you think about almonds, they also have magnesium, 75 milligrams. They also contain vitamin E. So if you're using topical vitamin E, remember, nuts have vitamin E in them. So a lot of products are now made, they've gone to coconut and almonds. So are you getting too much? That's the question. Do you need a lot of supplements? Not sure. You might be in a place where you're just getting adjusted to new forms of food and healthier foods. So you're going to need to take that little adjustment step and understand how these are going to work with your body, okay? Because now if you're coming out of the sugar stage and you're just getting adjusted to healthier foods, maybe you are on eating healthier starches, you know, that are from the ground. But you just want to be mindful that it's an adjustment for you, because all the body has to understand what you're doing now as opposed to what you were doing before. Okay, so it's called an adjustment phase, and you may go through this adjustment phase feeling a little funky, and you might have to get used to it because your body is rebuilding cells and getting rid of the old ones. So that whole phase of just trying to figure all that out, and it's a lot of the detoxing mechanisms that are getting reconnected, and so you might be going through your body's own detox, and it can cause a little brain fog, but it might take some time, and you must be patient with it, because some people say, I'm getting sick. Okay, well, you might have been sick already, but you're just going through some adjustments, and you have to understand this detox phase. A lot of greens are good, but overdoing the greens can also be an issue. Now, we're going to talk about sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds have vitamin E, they have zinc, they have iron, calcium, and these are an omega. We were talking about omegas because this product also has omega-6 and omega-3s. Okay, this is more, I believe, of an omega-6. I have to look that up. It's got mono and polyunsaturated fats, but this product also has seed oil. Okay, we're looking for the most natural product because some of the seed oils have been added to almost all the food products in our grocery store. So you have to understand, we've been overdosed with some of these seed oils. So when you're coming back to these things, we've been overdosed with some of the nut oils. Peanuts are a major problem for a lot of people because they are a legume and they are also, unfortunately, in a lot of conditions and how they're handled and managed to get to where you eat them, they have been either pumped with gases or they have mold in them. So you're dealing with a combination of things. So you got to be wise about them. But this product here, I believe, is a good product. And also you think about the combination products. This product has hemp, chia, and flax in it. So this is a double hemp here. So you either want to pick one or the other. Also has the omegas in it. But listen to all the benefits. Iron, thiamine, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, and manganese. Selenium also can be found in those large Brazil nuts. So you want to look at what you're eating, how much you're eating, and rotate. You want to rotate your eating patterns because that will help you with a lot of your issues that you might be experiencing and even with your children. But if you can pull back on drinking all of these supplements and drinking all these excess, milks that they're creating, smaller doses, very small doses, because these things will overdose and you will build up an intolerance and an allergy to it because of the histamines. But mostly the allergies that we are building up or that are responding are because we're recognizing these proteins. A lot of them are from meats and things that the animal meats and some of the other products that have been processed, and they have been inundated with all kinds of other toxic substances. All right. So there's not a lot of information on pine nuts, but pine nuts, of course, come from pine trees, correct? Yes. So you want to think about that tree connection. Okay. And when you think about hazelnuts, which I don't have in front of me, but a hazelnut is something that we don't always think about as being a major problem. But in the Italian family, we ate hazelnuts all through the holidays. And the little chocolates, Ferrero Rocher, I believe it is, were all hazelnuts. And we did a lot of cooking with hazelnuts. And those were things that I believe I may have passed down to my children because my oldest is allergic to hazelnut. My one son is allergic to walnuts. My other son is allergic to probably every nut and every nut out there. And my daughter is the peanut family. So we don't know for sure that is all that they are allergic to, but that is what is showing up with these results. Here is the cashew. Now the cashew has a lot of sugar. Cashew's high in magnesium, and a lot of products now are being made with cashews. Can you overdose with cashews? Yes, you can. So be very mindful of what you have introduced to your family, how much you're eating at one time. I made up these little nut packs to just give smaller doses, and maybe that would be something you would eat in a full day. That's not something you would eat in one sitting, but it might be if you haven't eaten any nuts all day long. So if you want to use a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, remember that there's all different ways that you see almonds. Almonds are coming into our refrigerated products everywhere, and they have wonderful benefits. So there is magnesium in here. Do we need all of these? Well, if your body can't break down fat, and in the case of not having a gallbladder, you might need some way to break these down a little bit better. And there are some supplemental things to do. But my suggestion is, and this may sound odd, but I have soaked my different types of nuts in lime or lemon juice. And I know that sounds odd, but it helps the body just like it would if you put lime or lemon on your food. It helps to break it down. It's like a prebiotic, okay? So it helps to break down that food. Now, when you think of some of the other things that they're offering, there's so many types of fermented foods, and you got to be a little wise about the fermentation process. Some of it involves salt, and that salt, over-salting, can cause stress on your kidneys. So it's about the amount of fermented foods you're eating, okay? You can't just go back to eating those massive portions with all the healthy stuff, because it could still cause some issues. And remember, you are adjusting to a healthier body, and there might be some phases where your body has to regrow some new cells and get rid of those old ones. So a lot of good fats in your diet. Coconut is great in moderation. Unsweetened coconut is much better, and using some fruit with your unsweetened coconut, because this is 10 grams of fat, and you need good fats, the omega-3s, to help the myelination process. And if you've heard of anybody with MS or anybody that's had ALS or neurodegenerative diseases or having memory issues, they need a really healthy balance of omega-3 to omega-6. And you got to be mindful of that body, and mindful of what you're thinking and eating and sleeping and working out and exercising. And exercising might be stretching, okay? And it might be gentle yoga poses, deep breathing, getting all that. You gotta get all those detoxed acids and air out of you, because the CO2's gotta come out somewhere, right? So you're breathing, you're sweating a little bit, and eventually you might not do all that once it gets balanced. And that's what I noticed. I didn't sweat a lot after I started eating healthier. And I didn't have all those blood sugar issues where I was sweating things out. As soon as I overeat that sugar, I do notice it. Your body starts heating up inside. You know, you start feeling there like somebody put a flame in there. You don't want that. You just want to listen to your body, know when it's healing, and take those measures to be taking healthier steps towards, healthier ways of eating. And I want to bring in the basmati rice, organic. Rinse your rice, okay? Brown rice does have a lot of carbohydrates, 33 grams. You don't need a lot, but you can. This is a wonderful complex carbohydrate, okay? So you want to put a little bit. You don't want a lot. In the days of pasta, we were eating so much pasta that was mostly what was there. Pasta with the sauce and the meatballs, okay? Now we're going to back that up. Back it up, okay? Maybe you're putting like 4 strands of pasta. Okay, maybe you can cut that out eventually and use zucchini strips or something. But those pastas actually, and those breads, and those crackers and cookies, and all that, pretzels and chips, they cause a lot of agitation and irritation for us. So we want to be a little bit healthier about what we're doing. This is a refined brown rice flour. Is a little bit better? Yeah, it's a little bit better in small doses. Okay, you just refined this. You broke this down from its natural, source or form into a refined thing. That's what happens with all the flours. They're all broken down. You don't need a lot. You need a little. Okay, just remember that because these are starches and carbohydrates. Diane Greco-Allen, Food Relationship Coach. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about magnesium supplementation or what foods might be best for you, reach out. I'd love to talk to you. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully you can be mindful with your choices today. And you can find me on d.grecoallen@gmail.com, or you can also go to my website, www.digestive distress solutions. I'm also on Facebook, and you can find me there as under pancreatitis awareness. So you can enjoy your day, enjoy mindfully what you're eating and drinking. Try to drink water, and don't go nuts. Diane Greco-Allen, have a great day.